Oh my God, do a burnout. Okay. The combination of rubber and brakes. Oh. Ah. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. The 240 is on the road. She's driving, she's good, and I friggin' love it. Now, something about this car that's completely different about the Accord is the drivetrain. So the drivetrain on my previous car that was my daily was a front engine, front wheel drive manual car. This vehicle is a front engine, rear wheel drive vehicle. Since it also has a limited slip differential, if I say drop the clutch, the back end will step out and both wheels will turn and spin. And I'll tell you right now, I've done it once or twice already, and oh my gosh, is it fun. I didn't really realize what I was missing out on until I actually got one of these things. So, check this out. So if I just roll back, rev the car up, it just spins. So much fun. Now, having this car, I kind of realized that you can have a lot of fun. You can have fun in a front-wheel drive vehicle, but you're gonna have a different kind of fun. So on a front-wheel drive car, you're gonna be basically trying to get either as much grip as you can to have fun. You're gonna want it so that it stays planted, doesn't move, and just, well, is a very good handling car. You can also give it a little bit of power, but at that point, you have to go at crazier speeds, and more often than not, illegal speeds, to have fun with it. The setup that I had on that car, on my front wheel drive daily, was a set of 265 summer tires, and they were very soft rubber. So I did get a lot of grip. But in order to really have some fun, I'd have to push the car kind of hard. I'd have to make it really, basically break the speed limit and kind of drive illegal-ish to have some fun. With this, you don't need to be going at crazy speeds to have fun. Because this thing's rear wheel drive, you can make it break traction at very low speeds and not really have to try at all. Now, the thing about this is that because it's rear wheel drive and it has a limited slip, it slips. And because of the tires that I have on this thing, it just wants to do that even more. So the tires on this thing are a set of 225 winter tires. Now, the only reason why I'm running winter tires right now is because I don't need them. The previous owner that had this car would drive this thing in the winter. Now, since I'm not gonna be driving in the winter, I don't need them at all. So what I'm gonna do, roast them off. So in the last couple days that I've had this thing on the road, I just put it on the road Saturday. The last couple days that I've had this on the road, I've been having a lot of fun. The rear tires on this thing, they basically came brand new. Same with the front tires. The winter tires were in very good condition. Now, since I don't need them, they're gonna be saying goodbye. So, if I do something like this, clutch kick, I'll slowly roast off the tires. But if I do a constant burnout where I drop the clutch and put my foot on the brake, I'll be roasting both of them, and it's sweet. So right now I'm basically sitting at about 330 seconds, give or take, in the matter of, what's today? 4 days? No, not even. No, actually, yeah, in a matter of 4 days, I've been able to go from, like, let's call it 10-30 seconds to about 3. Now, I know I mentioned when I got this car that I won't be modding it and I'll be keeping it pretty much close to stock. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I already picked up some aftermarket parts for it. Now, I'm not gonna be going absolutely crazy yet, at least. What I did pick up for this thing, I can easily take off and go back to stock, so it's not a big deal. The parts that I got, they're gonna be making the car look pretty much the same. You're not gonna really be able to tell from the outside that the car is modded. So what I'm gonna be doing is a couple mods to the suspension, a couple mods to the exhaust, and maybe power. I don't know, power isn't really my main concern. The main reason why I'm changing up my suspension on this thing is because that it's stock, the sway bars are tiny, the car rolls a lot, it does have a lot of movement even if you're not really pushing the hard. You take a regular turn and you would in the Accord, say doing 60 kilometers an hour, on this thing, it's gonna feel like you're gonna break traction and kind of like roll into the turn, as opposed to turn around the turn. Yeah, it's kind of hard to describe, but if you get in this car, you definitely know. The Accord has coilovers and upgraded suspension, sway bars, all that stuff, front and back. So that thing handled like a dream. When you turn, the car would turn. As opposed to this thing, when you turn, the car rolls and then turns and changes direction. Not a huge deal, but if I want to get this thing to step out and have some fun, if I can set up the suspension so it stays flat, it'll want to step out a lot easier. So I've got a set of sway bars, front and back coming in, bushings, all that stuff. Once I get into it, you guys will see what I'm doing and why I want to do this. Okay, come on, people. And the stock sound of it, I'm not a fan of. It's a stock car. Even with the windows down. You can barely hear it. Gotta love that construction. We've got 2 seasons in Canada, winter and construction. It's brutal. Now, something that I did notice when I took the car, jacked it up in the air, is I noticed that the underside, since it's almost 20 years old, there's a little bit of rust. Now, I want to address that before I really go into any kind of performance modification to it. So, what I did this weekend was I jacked the car up in the air, took all the wheels off, and I inspected everything. So, I took the brakes off, I re-lubed them, made sure they were all good, and basically went from there. So I re-lubricated everything, everything works nice, but again, it's all stock. Now, the rust that's underneath, it's not horrible by any means, but say the control arms, the bushings that are down there are starting to get old. Since the car's 19 years old, it's, well, 19-year-old parts, pretty much. So I'm guessing not much on this car has been changed since this thing was produced back in 1998. Now, something that I friggin' love about this car is that since it's old and since it's stock, I get a lot of people looking, including older gentlemen too. So I went to the beer store this weekend to go pick up some beer. And while I was taking my empties out of this thing and getting new beer, the gentleman that was parked next to me, he was like, "Oh wow, son, I haven't seen one of those things in forever." He's like, "Oh, I remember when I used to have one of these things, and boy did I love them." The same thing goes for a lot of people. So since this car's stock and I haven't really molested it yet, a lot of people can compare to this thing. They'll be like, this will bring them back 20 years ago, be like, "Oh hey, I remember when I had one of those when I was younger." This gets different people staring. And for different reasons as well. Like the Accord, it handles. This, not so much. Like if I was to take this thing and the Accord around a circuit, my Accord would destroy this thing all day long. Only because I've done mods to it. Suspension sorted, brakes are sorted. Oh, that's another thing that I really need to mod. The brakes on this thing are single piston front, single piston rear. They're not the greatest, and once you push the car hard, since they're very small brakes, you get a lot of brake fade very quickly. And it's not really something that I like. So I want to fix that up. And I've been looking around to Nissan Z32 4-piston brakes. They're a cheap set of 4-piston calipers from Nissan that came on the 300ZX, and a lot of people put them on them because it's a good, cheap, easy mod to do. So when you're going fast and you need to slow down, it'll stop a lot faster. Like off of that, I can smell my brakes. Stock stuff doesn't perform that well, only because it's stock. However, once I upgrade it, it's gonna be able to do that. It's gonna be able to do it at a shorter stopping distance. It's gonna make a little bit more heat, but the car's gonna be able to handle it. Only because the brakes are bigger, they'll be able to be, oh, here we go, more turns. If I slam on the brakes, I can feel my foot go to the floor. I can tell I'm really overworking these brakes. And that's after just 2 stops. So that's definitely, woo, that's definitely something I want to fix up. So brakes are in the works. Suspension is definitely in the works. I've got exhaust stuff coming in. Yeah. So this car's gonna be good, but man, do I love rear wheel drive. It's a huge difference going from the Accord to this thing, especially when it's wet. They're both 4-bangers, but when it's wet outside, you can have a lot more fun, only because you can get this back end a step out, you can make it slide, and you don't even have to be doing crazy speeds in order to do that. Now, the car still has the check engine light that I mentioned to you guys before. It has an EVAP problem. So I took a look at it quickly, and everything seems to be kind of rusty. So because of it, well, the mechanism on the inside part of the EVAP vent valve, it's rusted closed. So what I'm probably gonna have to do is buy the part to replace it, because the way that it is right now, it's not functioning and I have a check engine light. So I want to change that up, fix it so that there's no codes, no nothing on my dash. There's no lights going on and the car runs nice. So I want to get this thing up and going, make it perfectly stock, like kind of the way it came out the dealer floor, make it very nice on the bottom side, clean it up, and make it so that I can drive this thing for like a long time, not have to worry about the bottom side rusting, not have to worry about, say, bushings going on me or anything. And while I'm at it, I think I might look for polyurethane controller mounts, engine mounts, and all those mounts while I'm at it, because the stock rubber ones that are on there now, they're cracking. So because they're cracking, it's time to replace them, and I'm thinking upgrade them while I'm at it. If you guys know of any good websites where I can pick up 240 parts, or even good mods to do to this thing, let me know in the comment section. I'd love to hear your opinion on it. Now, the mods that I'm going to do, I'm not gonna be going crazy. I'm not cutting the body. I'm not gonna be installing a wide body kit on it or anything. The way that it looks is the way that I'm gonna keep it. I'm not even gonna be rolling my fenders because I don't wanna damage it. So that's something that's gonna be happening in the future. Let me know what you guys think of the car. If you guys wanna see some mods on this thing, let me know. And I'd be happy to, like, maybe down the road, do them. Anyways, guys, if you have any questions regarding the video, throw them down in the comment section below, and I'd be more than happy to help. Again, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.